Welcome to the Fantasy Cast podcast, where three grown men pass the time by telling each other their deepest, darkest fantasies. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Nathan here. I'm joined by Mike.
Hey.
And John.
Hey.
Listener sent in a message, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of kick it to you guys. It was somebody on Reddit wrote, "Love the podcast, love what you guys are doing. One question, how come the majority of your fantasies end with you guys jacking off?"
It's really sweet of them to reach out. I like to jack off. That's usually what my fantasy is I'm publicly masturbating in front of someone.
Yeah.
Being degraded publicly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into. So if you don't like it, go find another podcast.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Look, if you want to know what it feels like, if you want someone to describe to you sex with a woman, go turn on Showtime after 10 p.m.
There's plenty of places to go for that sort of thing.
Yeah, we're talking about next level fantasies here. We're talking about taking it, just really expanding your mind, getting really deep into it. And if you can't handle that, then like you said, John, maybe this isn't the, maybe you should read some Penthouse forum letters and, keep it safe.
Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should even respond because it's such a small-brained thing that someone would ask. Grow the fuck up, one. Then once you grow the fuck up, get an imagination. And then number 3, why don't you get wrap your lips around it and just because I don't want to hear it, and make sure you leave a bucket of soapy water out so that your family can clean up of your brain, your tiny little brain.
Yeah, that's, really insulting question, actually, when you think about it. So I was thinking about, I had this fantasy idea, and I think it'll be good to kind of get us started. We're going to be reading a Penthouse forum letter later on and punching it up. Those things are very tame, but I thought it'd be fun to read one and then just kind of finish it off with our own. So the prompt I was thinking, what's that?
I said child's play.
Yeah, exactly. So what I was thinking about, I was picturing my dream job, right? What my dream job would be. Picture your dream job. Sky's the limit. Anything goes. Be anything you want. What is your ultimate sex fantasy while working that dream job? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Hit me.
I start a job at NPR. I cover local news in Chicago. I'm covering the beat, crime, politics in Chicago. I get some traction because I'm not afraid to tell the truth a little, how I truly feel. You know what I mean? I break the mold a little bit. They cut me off a couple times, but they leave it in the programming because they know that it's because NPR needs like their own mad as hell and I'm not going to take it kind of energy right now.
Yeah.
And I eventually get my own show. It's called Mike's Meltdown Matinee. It happens on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
People, you go out to the farmer's market, you come home, and you have some coffee and you have your fresh vegetables and stuff, and you're making a frittata with your family.
Yeah.
Or something, and your girlfriend, and you live in an apartment in Wicker Park. And it's just something people put on and listen to, tote bags and stuff like that.
Nice to have somebody talking to you in the background.
Yeah,
of your life.
And I'm interested in things that people are interested in. I go to I'm reporting live from Lollapalooza. This weekend, this place has really good, interesting fish. Let's talk to the owner. And the owner will be like, yeah, me and my family, we've been here for 15 years. 15 years, huh? And what's the secret of your success? Just good ingredients and good customer service. Oh, wow. And then I go into their background, like what country they came in from and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And I start getting like an insane fan base. Everyone wants to be my friend. I have to shut down my social media, Twitter and Instagram, because it's just getting too aggressive. Everyone's like, I want to be on your show, blah, 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 blah. I start getting a stalker. Someone starts stalking me. And the thing about people on NPR is that they're all psychopaths. Like, you're not allowed to look them in the eye, and like they're cruel. Terry Gross is a frigid prude. She was cruel to Gene Simmons that one time. And
yeah, she treated Quentin Tarantino very unfairly.
Yeah, she's just kind of a frigid freak, and the other guys are self-righteous monsters that have like electrical cars and stuff like that. Basically, they're bloated. They need to be gut from sternum to groin and just bled out in the middle of the street. But anyway, so I start getting stalker stuff happening to me. I had to take a drink. Sorry. You guys caught me on a good night because I'm super duper horny right now.
That's how we like it.
So I keep getting stuff in the mail. Weird hair. Could be armpit hair, could be chest hair from a man, or it could be pubic hair from a woman. It's buttery, it's oily. And I save it, I'm into it. And I'm getting letters that are written, and there's secret messages encoded in them, capital letters scattered throughout the middle sentences that spell things out, like help me find myself, and I know the secret messages you're telling me. Sometimes they say things like, the secret messages you're telling me aren't even secrets, you just say them straight up in the broadcast. Like, you aren't even trying to hide it, you're just saying that you want me to follow you and do weird things to you and your family and your neighbors and stuff like that. And I have a collection of this stuff. It's all from one person. They're a redhead, and I'm into it. Eventually they start showing up on my tennis court, and she's killed my cats, and she spelled out my name with their body parts on my tennis court. I chase her. I call the cops a couple of times. Eventually, I just get a fire hose installed in my tennis court so I can just hose this person off because they keep showing up. And it's like a wet t-shirt contest, but they like spin around. But like, it's titillating to me either way. You know what I mean? I like the attention, and I'm basically celibate as an NPR person because they're all extremely sexually repressed and incapable of showing like physical like affection for anyone.
Yeah, couldn't if they wanted to.
Because they believe that's like a sin and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, she breaks into my apartment and is watching me sleep and stuff like that. And this is where it gets interesting. And this is where I make first contact. I know she's been doing it every night. And I just know that we made eye contact the previous night. So the next night, she shows up. She's looking at me sleep. I'm already masturbating. Okay, I'm hard as a rock. Diamond hard. Okay? Silk sheets, 2,000 count thread. That's public money, mind you. That's that NPR money. Okay, that just blows away in the wind. And she's just panting. You know what I mean? Looking at me like giving me the Stanley Kubrick look, panting. Big brow. You know what I mean? And I open my eyes and I say, are you ready for all of your fantasies to become a reality? She doesn't know what to say. She's scared. You know what I mean? Because all this buildup and stuff. I go up to her and corner her against the door. One hand over her head, another hand over her head. And I go forehead to forehead. And I say, did I stutter? You're live with the mic man right now. Whatever. this chick is greasy as hell right now. You know what I mean? It's at the point where it's like not localized at the genital area, but like all over them. We're slipping and sliding. We slip and slide all over the floor. Groping, going crazy. It's like we're in a fugue state, animalistic, ripping, tearing, and pulling at each other's skin. We both bust without even penetration. For the next 6 hours, we're just going at it on that silk sheet. You know what I mean? Remember I mentioned a shotgun blast against the wall? It was like that, but with like rope and female stuff.
So is there, do you eventually penetrate?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We do the whole night. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's like crystal meth style.
Gotcha.
Okay. Like I put porn on and stuff like that, psycho stuff. It's like excessive.
Yeah.
There's points where we're doing it and we're both just like speaking in tongues, not even looking at each other, staring at stuff, drooling.
Right.
Okay. This goes on for an extremely long time. Now, mind you, this is a mentally ill person. They are not clean. Okay. And they're like a devout NPR fan. So they are, okay. She falls asleep after about, let's say 12 hours. I go to my phone and I call the police. I'm sitting there on the bed, laid back, stroking my massive penis. It's red and irritated right now. The police show up. She's on the floor, just like she's blind. She's crawling around on the floor blind. She can't see because we've had so much sex. And the police show up and restrain her. And she's like, I thought we were cool. And I was like, yeah, dream on the entire time I'm masturbating in front of the cops, in front of everyone. And I say, get this piece of shit out of my house. You know what I mean? And at that point, they're pulling her out. She's screaming and yelling. And she's like, you told me you love me, all this stuff. I'm still masturbating as I follow the cops out, just watching, smiling while they're pulling her away like she's being pulled into the insane asylum. Yeah. And I say, hey, give her the NPR special. And that means they put her in the back of the car, no seatbelt, no handcuffs or anything. And they just drive around like crazy, doing like crazy wheelies and stuff. They drop her off in an insane asylum. She never gets out. And she's going on and on about how great I am at sex and stuff. And that like, it's just a matter of time before I rescue her out of the prison. And guess what? It never happens. Do I ever report on it? No. Terry Gross asked me a question on it. Do I comment on it? I slap Terry Gross right across the face and say, how dare you ask me that question? You're done here. She gets fired. This is a perfect world. That little creep gets fired. She's gone. I then get everyone else there fired for even bringing this up because it's so offensive to me. That's how likable I am. That's it.
That was amazing. That was an amazing fantasy.
I told you I was wound up. You guys caught me on a good time.
You know what I like about it is that because you're an NPR guy, you are elevated to this like godlike status.
Yeah.
And you're untouchable by the law. Just the police just don't. There's nothing they can do against you.
No.
Like it's complete, total, ultimate power.
Yeah. The sad part is that the only thing that's exciting for me sexually is like someone who's completely insane.
Yeah. I would hate to be a fly on the wall for what you had to do to get that job.
That's a story for another time, I feel like.
Yeah. What do you got, John? You want to hop in or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go.
Bust first.
So I'm like I guess an editor of like a magazine, like similar to like when Vice started. It's like kind of raw and people are into it, it's like
edgy.
It's like kind of dictating what's happening in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also just a fucking pervert, so I'm like getting them. I'm turning these feminists into something they don't want to be. Like I somehow get them to start shaving again. Like it's like it's like the 90s. Like you have to have a shaved pussy.
Mm.
So I'm also, I'm just pervert. And the culture at work is kind of everything's okay. Like you can like jack off at work. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like you can fuck whoever you want. And one of the things I do is I break into everyone's cell phone. So I have material on them.
Mm-hmm.
I know guys are doing fucked up shit. And I like slowly leak it through the organization and start getting guys fired. So there's pretty much the only person that's left is me. And it's just me with a bunch of women.
To run the whole magazine?
Yeah, it's just like me and like, it's like a small time magazine. It's like me and 19 other women.
Oh, okay.
There's like 2 gay guys left. So I'm like writing this. I'm actually writing the first piece I've written in years, and it's like about face sitting. It's about like the punishment and the reward of face sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whistleblower in the company who found out that I was going through everyone's cell phones, and the girls decide to take it out on me, and they don't want to call the police. They don't want the cops involved. So I'm working late one night.
Street justice.
Yeah. And I'm working late. 2 girls walk in, pull their pants down. I'm just like, what's going on? And they bend over and they start pushing their butts towards my face. I'm in my office chair. I'm just sort of swiveling around like, what's going on? And then more and more creep in. There's like 18 butts. And I'm just in the middle like, nom. So I eat out a bunch of butt, jack off, and the next morning I get a call from my lawyer that the board has met and I no longer have a job.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really got a raw deal.
Yeah, I got a raw deal, but it was cool.
Why did they give you the axe?
What I did was illegal. That's what the whistleblower found out, is that I was going through everyone's phones.
What were your employees saying while they were kind of smashing your face with their asses? What was the energy like?
Like you'll never work in print again.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I just kept sort of piling it on. I had like a hard time breathing.
Yeah.
Very hot.
That sounds pretty exciting.
That was good.
Sounds like it's a pretty confusing kind of thing to have happen to you.
Very. The fantasy really for me kind of ends when I get all the women in the office to shave.
Yeah, that's
really
weird. That's what it sounds like.
The most exciting part for me was creating that culture that gets women to shave again.
Gotcha.
A work culture.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's called influence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then that's worth more than money.
Yeah, you're kind of like a cult leader. You know.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking of who's the guy that's a Nazi now?
Gavin
McGinnis.
Gavin McGinnis. That guy he just emits like the energy that his parents are divorced.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or his dad. He emits the energy that his parents are divorced and his dad's an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been stuck there for 40 years almost.
Yeah, he just wants to fight his way out of there.
Yeah.
Seems like he's been fighting his whole life. Fighting the man in the mirror, you know?
Yeah.
Like when he's beating up a 90-pound Antifa guy on the street, it's really him he's punching.
Really,
Right.
they should just be talking about their fathers, their relationship to their fathers.
Yeah, I think they would get a lot more done at their Proud Boy meetings.
That's the type of guy that would blow the whistle at my company.
Oh, Okay, so hold on. So basically, you're the victim of a white supremacist whistleblower.
No,
It's not like you were caught sexually harassing a bunch of women and going through people's
No.
phones.
no, I'm the victim of Antifa.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. My magazine's pretty left, but apparently not far enough.
Gotcha.
I don't want to get into politics.
Okay, well, yeah.
It's the opposite of fantasy. You know.
Yeah.
Yours was about NPR.
Oh yeah, I guess it just kind of seeps in there, doesn't it? I didn't even realize I was saying those things.
What do you got, Nathan?
I'm in a harbor town. It's like 1938. A bunch of sailors are coming off of a battleship. They're walking the stretch of the town where all the sex workers are. And I'm standing there with the sex workers saying, like, hey, sailor, you want to see some pictures? I got some pictures for you, sailor. I'm a smut peddler. That's my job. They come up to me. I charge them $1. They get to take whatever picture they want from inside my trench coat back to the alley for 10 minutes, right? So I got it all. Guy on guy, girl on girl, threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, guys having sex with a robot having sex with another robot. Really, I'm world renowned. All the sailors know that if you come to this port where I work, you can get whatever you want, right? Mm. So I'm standing there, I'm flipping a coin, in my hand, and I'm chewing on a toothpick. And two, really well kept, good looking sailors come up to me, and I'm like, "Hey guys, you want to see some pictures?" And they're like, "Sure do. What do you got?" Like, "I got whatever you want." And they're like, "We want guy on guy." And I'm like, "Absolutely." Reach into my trench coat, pull out my stack of guy on guy. Boom, the cuffs go on me. There's a sting. Find myself in the slammer, right? Sitting in this cold, dark cell, county jail. These two police officers that were undercover come in, drag me into the interrogation room. They throw all my pornographic images on the table, and they like scatter, and they're like, "You got yourself quite a collection, your buddy. Looks like you're the real smut peddler. You can get up to 5 years in jail for peddling this kind of crap." And I'm like, "Please, anybody could have taken those pictures. Those aren't mine. I put on somebody else's coat," making all these excuses. And they're like, "Listen, did you take those pictures? Did you?" And I'm like, "You know what? So what if I did? What if I did?" And they're like, "Well, if you did, we might be able to work with each other. We might be able to cut a deal. What if I were to tell you that if you did, in fact, take all these pictures that you're peddling out here, that I could not only get you off of this charge, but I could get you a good get out of jail free card and get you a nice little paycheck?" And I said, "Okay, I'm listening. So this police officers, two police officers that busted me, they lean in real close and they say, "We need a discreet photographer to photograph our wedding. Me and this guy right here, yeah, we're partners in the force, but we're also lovers, and we're planning to get married. We like your work. We like what you do. It's absolutely gorgeous, the way you capture the essence and the feeling, and the way your pornographic photography tells a story. So when a sailor is jacking off in an alley, they're like in that image with the person." So I'm like, "You know what, guys? Let's do this thing." Right. Next day, take me out of jail. We go off to a shack out on the edge of town. Right. It's got to be real secluded, because this kind of thing is like, we're talking about 1938. If this were to get out that two male police officers were getting married, it'd be donezo for these guys. Right. So we arrive at the shack, rickety as hell, sitting there with one of the grooms, the groom's sister shows up. She's going to be officiating the whole thing. She's kind of nice with it, not bad looking, right? We're sitting there cutting up, bullshitting before the wedding ceremony. I'm telling a story about the time that General MacArthur went to buy pornography from me. He wanted a guy-on-guy picture, and he handed me a 20. This is the story I'm telling. And I was like, that'll be $1. He hands me a 20. It's like, you got change for a 20? And I said, I only have change in BOFA. And he's like, I've sailed all over the world, and I never heard of BOFA. And I'm like, you never heard of BOFA? He's like, yeah, what's BOFA? And I say, both of these nuts. And I grabbed his 20 and I run off with it. Everyone is dying. The sister and the groom just slapping, knee slapping on the ground. Just dying. We're having a good time. Hear a knock at the door. It's the other groom. He looks gorgeous. He's full white on white suit. He's got a bouquet. He's got manicure. His eyebrows are done. He's got just enough makeup on where you can't really tell that he's wearing makeup. His skin looks great. His hair looks incredible. Wow. The camera loves him. I'm snapping pictures left and right. So he gets together with his groom. They go up to this like cute little makeshift altar that we made out of a garbage can turned upside down with a little candle on it. The sister's up there. Dearly beloved, we're gathered here together. I'm taking photo after photo. The camera just loves this scene. The lighting is great. But I noticed that the sister, her dress is tucked into her underwear in the back. And you can see her ass, like half of her ass cheek. And I don't want to interrupt her, tell her, but good Lord, is it hot? So I start to get a boner. Mind you, I've been in jail for the last 24 hours, right? I'm pretty hard up. For a smut peddler like me, that's a pretty long time. So I'm liking what I see, I keep taking pictures. Hear another knock at the door. You guys expecting anybody? No, I'm not expecting anybody. Oh, shit. County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department. We got reports of some bizarre behavior going on in this shack. And the guys, the two grooms are looking at me like, do something, like take care of it. Like we can't, if we get caught here, this is over for us. So I've got a full on erection because I've been ogling this woman. I walk up to the door. I crack it open a little bit. Rickety shack. The door falls off its hinge and is only being supported by my erection. If I go limp or if I bust, the door falls down. The sheriff sees what's going on inside. So I'm like, hey there, sheriff. Great night out here, isn't it? It's like, cut the crap. We know that there's something going on in here. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, hey, hold your horses there, copper. There's nothing going on here. It's just me and my best girl taking some pictures. He's like, that's a load of horse crap. What's going on in there? I'm like, no, seriously. I look over at the girl and I motion her to come over. I'm like with my eyes, I'm like, you got to talk to this cop. You got to calm him down. He's got to make him believe that it's just me and you in here, So she walks up and I'm like, see, look, officer, this is my girl here. It's just me and her in here. He's like, yeah. Likely story. You, sweetheart, what's your name? And she's like, looks at me, gives me this like little smile. My name's Bofa. He's like, Bofa? What kind of name is Bofa? I never heard of that name. Yeah, she's like, it's German for Bofidy's nips. And she lifts up her dress, full on tit drop. Keep in mind, this whole time I'm struggling, right? I'm struggling because not only do I have to maintain an erection under this stress condition, but I can't go limp, but I also can't bust. So when that tit drop happens, I'm so close to coming. And then she says to the officer, the sheriff, she's like, oh, and I'm a Pisces too. I lose it. Boom. Absolutely rupture this door, shoot it off its hinges, knocks this sheriff down. Everybody goes running off. We're me, the girl, the two, the groom and the groom are all running away, like how the Three Stooges do, how they like run in different directions and then they come and they bump heads and they fall down. And we run off, and one of the groom throws the bouquet behind his head, and the sheriff catches it. His heart is warmed, and he just starts waving to us as we run off. That's the end.
That's cool. I like that ending.
Yeah, it's a little heartwarming thing. The sheriff is gonna find love next. Maybe he might be the next one to get married.
Yeah, it sounds like he's gonna rush home and maybe seal the deal with like a woman he has a relationship with or something.
Yeah, he could pop the question. On the way home, stop by the pawn shop, get himself a nice little ring. Go home, get on one knee. Me and you together forever. I just had a life-changing experience.
When you say something like "get a nice little ring," is that something you've said before?
I don't think so.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get yourself a nice little ring.
I might have. Nothing too fancy.
Yeah, it's just so folksy.
Yeah.
Bofa will always make me laugh for some reason.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's
Bofa.
funnier than D's, I think.
Yeah.
D's
is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy. Yeah, it's a pretty strong round of fantasies we got going on here.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting in better shape. Your new morning ritual, Mud Water, that's spelled MUD/WTR, is a coffee alternative consisting of organic ingredients lauded by cultures old and young for their health and performance benefits. With 1/7 the caffeine or coffee, Mud gives you natural energy, focus, and more without the jitters or crash. I was at work the other day and I was drinking a hot cup of Mud Water. And everyone's like, "What the hell are you drinking? What is that? Is that a coffee? I mean, that's not coffee. So what is that?" And I said, "Guys, relax. This is Mud Water. It's this new thing. It's made out of cacao, chaga, cordyceps, reishi, lion's mane, cinnamon, sea salt, turmeric, masala chai, cacao. It's free shipping, and you can cancel or skip it anytime that you want to stop your subscription to it. Mud Water, what is it? It's a blend of masala chai and adaptogens, giving you a sharp mind, physical performance, and a supported immune system. It's earthy, a little chocolatey, and slightly spicy, like chai and hot cocoa with a little hippie love child. How do you drink it? Add a tablespoon of hot water and add whatever you like. Some like it with a little creamer, some like honey, or even bulletproof. Done? Stir well before enjoying like the legend you are. Me, I take it, I put a little bit of natural maple syrup. I heat up some water and I pour a little bit in there and I just enjoy it all day long. You don't get the jitters or anything like that. And I got to say, it's some good stuff. I highly recommend it. If you're interested in trying it, right now you can subscribe and get 20% off of your Mud Monthly and save 20% off. You want to try it? That's okay too. So you just want to go to their website. It's www.mud. That's MUDWTR.com and check it out. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that stuff's pretty good. I'm looking for a caffeine alternative. Maybe I'll give it a shot. 20% off. You can't beat that price. So I'm just going to throw us right back in here. This one's called Love My Neighbor. It's from a Penthouse forum. 2017. I didn't know that they still made these, but anyways. I just fulfilled my greatest fantasy. I fucked my neighbor. Or should I say, she fucked me. Because she was basically in control the whole time and gave me the fuck of my young life. Did I mention that she's twice my age and I've lusted after her for ages? Also, guys, feel free to jump in if you guys have any thoughts or comments, but basically, like I said before, I'm going to read through and then I'll tell you when I'm going to throw you guys in.
This kid already say how old he is?
No, he's going to get into that. Yeah.
For me, it'd be like an 80 or 85-year-old woman.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking a 75-year-old lady. Hard body.
She's in absolute control.
Can lift an entire car over her head.
Oh my god. Okay, go on.
Okay. Miss W, as I've always known her, has lived next door to us since I was a kid. A divorcee with no children. She was always a friendly woman without being a constant presence. I mean, she and my parents were never social with each other. She pretty much kept to herself, but we were on speaking terms, especially when I got to high school. She hired me to cut her lawn in the summers, and I would do so shirtless and in cut-off jeans. And she'd sit out on her front porch in her bathing suit, watching me. I reciprocated. She's always been a sun worshiper and often would lie out in her backyard. I had a great vantage point of her favorite spot from my bedroom window. When I would come home for summer from college, I'd get out my binoculars and focus them on her luscious figure, bronzing in the sun. Every once in a while, she'd get bold and take her top off. That would make me pull out my cock and stroke it to glory. Now I'm in grad school, but still living at my parents' home. What's up, John?
Grad school. So he probably took a few years off. He's probably mid-30s. This woman's 70.
Yeah.
Right? Naked sunbathing? Okay, go ahead.
Well, hold that thought, John, because It's interesting that you said that, because I would agree with you, but apparently, okay, so now I'm in grad school, but still living at my parents' home. A guy's got to save money. I don't mow Miss W's lawn anymore, but she's tanning in the backyard, and the years have done nothing to detract from her fabulous figure. She's now in her mid-40s, I'd guess, and her boobs are still firm and her stomach flat, and she has legs to die for. So I guess he went straight to grad school out of college, John.
I think we're getting hung up on the numbers. We're being a little too literal.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Once when I was outside washing my car while wearing only my swim trunks, I caught Miss W watching me from her upstairs window. I spun myself a little fantasy that she was masturbating while watching me. Some way, somehow, I had to know if her interest was mutual. She wasn't going to do anything, so I had to make a move. I had a great interest in photography and spent a good deal of time and money on my hobby. It's not what I'm going to do. It's not what I'm going to school for, but I'd love to make it a career. Anyways, I came up with an idea that I didn't think would backfire if it didn't work. And if it did work, it would make for the greatest day of my life. I summoned up all my courage and went to her front door. I knew she was home. Her car was in the driveway. Miss W answered the door, all smiles, and then invited me in and asked me how I was doing. She got me some iced tea and we chatted. Then I told her why I'd come to see her. I'm working on a portfolio for my photography career, I told her, and I need to shoot some glamour shots. Immediately you came to mind. She blushed and said, certainly there are a number of girls at your college that would love to pose for you. That may be, I said, my voice quivering a bit, but you're the most beautiful woman I know. Miss W gave me a look. It's hard to describe. It was as though I was witnessing her making up her mind on something. And she got very thoughtful. I'd be glad to, she finally said. We arranged for a time when she could come over to my house, and we would be alone. My parents were about to head out on vacation, and I'd have the house to myself for 3 weeks. The appointed day came, and I was a nervous wreck. Miss W was right on time, and she carried a small bag. What's that for? I asked her. Well, I brought some outfits you might want me to wear, she said brightly. I even brought my bathing suit because I know you've seen me wear it plenty of times. At that, it was my turn to blush.
Lady's so fucking hot.
Yeah, This is really good. This is how it's done.
Yeah.
All right,
My
keep
turn
going.
to blush. Also, she said, opening the bag and pulling out some frilly things. I brought some lingerie. The lingerie would be great, I said. Are you sure that that would be okay? More than okay, she said, heading to the bathroom to change and put on her makeup. She returned, all glammed out, in an outfit that made my cock instantly hard. It was all black, which contrasted nicely with her blonde hair. She had on a bra, panties, garters, stockings, and high heel shoes, and over her shoulders wore some kind of flimsy little jacket. I had all my lights and equipment set up. Shall we get started, she said, laying down on the sofa. I've never modeled before, so you'll have to tell me what to do. But she knew exactly what to do, moving around in a series of provocative poses, her legs getting further apart as she did so. I took many pictures, and when she slipped out of her bra, I gulped and kept snapping. It looks like you're enjoying yourself, Miss W said, gesturing towards my hard-on, straining against my jeans. Why don't you show that bad boy to me? Stop.
Wow.
So my question to you guys, if you were this guy, what do you do?
And she says, show that bad boy to me.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pull it out.
Yeah, you got to.
At that point, you got to pull it out.
Shaky hands, like this. She's like, I'm going to show you something none of your professors will show you in school. You know, something like that.
Yeah. And if you want the upper hand, you got to do something big right then. You got to. That's when I spit in my hand.
Yeah.
Spit directly into my hand. Look her in the eye, and that's when she is just like, "Holy shit! This is more than I bargained for."
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You got to flip the script because right at this point, you're a little nerd behind a camera.
Right, and then she's shaking.
Yeah, how do you terrify her? I would actually.
So you want to terrify her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would pull out like a buck knife out of the back of my pants. I'd be like, "Oh, you mean this?" You know what I mean? And I'm toying with it. I'm like, I'm describing it. This is indestructible titanium, razor sharp.
Yeah.
I'm using it to like shave a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that, just to like be like, well, is this guy crazy?
Yeah.
A little bit. Also, I took out my penis at the same time, and it's bulging. And it's one of the most veiny, weird, purple, putrid little things you've ever seen. It's not little.
Yeah.
But it's also dripping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I do?
It's scary.
It's clearly been hard for the last 9 hours.
I unzip my pants and a bunch of those spring snake things pop out.
Yeah.
And I nervously try to laugh it off as though it's just a poorly timed joke.
Yeah. Falls flat.
Yeah. Like in my head,
John,
I thought it was going to be a real icebreaker,
Yeah.
This is cool. We can all go back and forth to describe how we would handle it. So John, you spit in your hand.
I spit in my
you're already jerking off.
I'm jerking off, and she's clearly into it. She's not scared by any means. Then I rip like a little clump of pubic hair out to keep my boner down.
Just getting too hot. You don't want to bust too soon.
I'm just like, I gotta stop. And I just rip it. She's just like, Jesus Christ, that was insane. So then we just go back to taking photos. She's 78 years old, super tired. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like trying to take it slow with her, not trying to bust too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're playing the long game, John.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah, she's already waited 78 years. You might as well.
I time it up. I have the house rigged up to a kill switch.
So like the power.
Okay, yeah, I have the house hooked up to a kill switch on the power. What's weird is that like when I'm talking to you guys and laughing like this is also identical to how I like cry when I'm trying to like talk and cry. It's exactly the same way. Okay, so I had the house pulled up, hooked up to a kill switch. It turns off all the electricity. All that's streaming through now. The sun is set. It's just like a thin, like a light blue, scary light.
Mhm.
And I'm chasing her around the house with a knife. And she goes to the basement. And the basement just filled with mirrors, right? Like different mirrors and dolls and stuff. And I'm like, even when I was a little boy, I never know who I was. Mommy and Daddy weren't so nice. It's like flashbacks to like them abusing me and stuff. And she smashes all the mirrors until it's like only me left.
Mhm.
And I said, there's only one way out of this, and that's through me. And she comes up to me and she kisses me, and it like breaks a spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just like so scared about like the buildup was just so intense. Like it felt like lashing out. You know what I mean? So she gets down on all fours and she starts giving me a blowjob. No hands. Gagging style. This is a 40-year-old woman to 45-year-old woman. I'm sticking with like the author's age. So she starts giving me a blowjob, no hands. Okay. And she rips her bra. Wait, her bra's already off. And she stands up. I pull her up by her hair, like in a playful, respectful way. You know what I mean? Where it's being passionate. I have my hand behind her head, and we start making out passionately. I stick my other hand between her legs. You know what I mean? And I'm just feeling what's on down there. It's incredibly hot and wet. Okay. At the same time, we're still making out, pushed up against a dusty old brick wall. I'm massaging my penis, and I am good to go. She is wet as fuck. I stick a finger in it, slides in really easily. I turn her around, and then I stick my penis in her. I glide it into her vagina. She lets out like a sigh. Okay, and I grab her neck, and I have my head like right next to her head. And she's like, "It feels so good. You're so good at this, Johnny." And I'm like, "Yeah, oh God," you know what I mean? And we're doing it that way for a while. I forgot like my little brother was home, and he's peeking. He knocks over a jar of olives that we have in the basement. We turn around, and we look at him. We both like kind of laugh, and he runs away. She puts both hands up on a pipe. And we're going so hard, the pipe breaks and water starts pouring down on us. Okay. How hot is that? She turns around. I lift her up, even though she's older than me. I'm actually stronger because I'm like a lifeguard during the summer. And we're doing it face to face now. And she's just like pulling, like digging her nails into my neck and just like screaming. And I'm just staring right at her, just like I have a moment of clarity. Her chest and face and cheeks are totally red. And I'm like, wow, I'm really doing this right now. This is adulthood. It just goes on and on like that for a little bit. And later on in life, I moved back home because I'm a loser. And I actually just like end up working for her, mowing her lawn and stuff, and like becoming a caretaker and like taking care of her until she passes away.
Yeah, that's great. That ended on a really sweet note too. So for me, the the gag springs loaded snake shootout falls totally flat. And she's like, "You know what would make me really hot?" I'm like, "What's that?" She's like, "If you let me see your grad school project." And I'm like, "Grad school project? Okay." And she's like, "Go ahead, pull it up on your laptop." And I'm like, "You're talking about the my project working on the cold fusion power conductor for the U.S. government?" She's like, "Yeah, that's the one." I'm like, "But that's classified." She's like, "That's what makes it so hot." So I pull up the specs of the superconductor, and she, out of her little bag, she takes one of those little spy cameras and she starts taking pictures of it,
Yeah.
She's like, "You know what I think would be really hot is if you gave me your login information for your government account and your security clearance." I'm like, "Whoa, yeah, whatever you want." And so she's kind of like pushes me to the side, and I fall down on the ground. And she's just like rifling through this database, just like taking pictures and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, what about me? I'm over here with a heart on. What are you doing? She just, without even looking at me, she just reaches her hand out, just start like mechanically jacking me off while she's like taking pictures with her other hand. Just then I hear a flashbang goes off and like a SWAT team jumps in and they're like, FBI, everybody freeze. They knock us all on the ground. They handcuff this beautiful topless older woman with a cable tie around her back, her hands behind her back. And they're like, so you fell for our honeypot. They're talking to her. They're like, sorry, kid, we set up the sting. We've been trying to catch this mole for a long time. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? This isn't a mole. This is my neighbor. And they're like, this isn't your neighbor. And they pull off a mask, like Mission Impossible style. And it's a bearded, like Russian spy.
Whoa.
And he's like frothing at the mouth
and
like gnashing his teeth like a hungry zombie that has been captured,
Yeah.
It's like trying to bite people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did a double take. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, you're an American hero, kid. Don't change anything. Eventually you will get that to have sex with that older woman. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. We all believe in you. They give me a medal. And that's the end of that fantasy.
They were watching you the whole time.
It was all a sting. They used me.
Do you think, like, looking back, you can like tell by like the hand that was giving you a mechanical hand job that it was like a man's hand?
I think if I was more if I was more used to having a hand other than my own on my penis, then yes.
Mm-hmm.
But mind you, in this fantasy, I am a 10-time loser.
Yeah.
Absolutely unfucked. Who puts spring-loaded snakes in their pants and thinks it's funny?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of dude I am. Like, no reasonable woman who wasn't a spy trying to just use me for my information would find that in the least bit appealing.
Like, how long has it even been in there?
Yeah. It can't be comfortable. But I do come. I think I forgot to mention that. The reason I forgot to mention it is because it's completely unremarkable. And it was masked by the whole, the flashbang going off and me getting thrown to the ground. And
when I picture you coming, I picture you like you're on the ground. They're on their computer, and you're like thrusting your butt in the air.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm going buck wild.
Like your shoes are like scuffing the floor.
Yeah, I'm like a fish out of water. I'm just flopping around.
That could be hot to some people. That might be hot to some of the listeners. I guess this is what this is about. It's easy to lose.
Yeah.
Why do we do this?
We're trying to make people just think about, their own genitalia differently.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what, makes them feel good. Really push the boundaries by divulging our own perverted imaginary scenarios.
I keep going to the park and I noticed that there's like circles of like young people. I think it's like a post-COVID thing. They seem like they're in 20-somethings. They seem to always be talking about like trauma and they're just talking about themselves. You know what I mean? I've seen them like gesturing like blah, 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 blah. I see them gesturing. They seem to be talking about themselves and just talking about your own preference about who you are and what your deal is seems to be really important to people right now.
It's probably group therapy. That's what you probably walked into. Right? You probably walked into a group therapy session where people are trying really hard to pick up the pieces of their broken lives, finally with people who understand them. And you walk by, judging them, putting their personal problems on blast, for the whole world to laugh at, mock them.
Yeah.
You're so
But,
Well, it's just pathetic.
but that's cool. That's cool that she did that, though.
It's just pathetic that people need to talk about themselves so much in a group of people. Just keep it to yourself. Save that
Yeah,
shit for your
just-
diary.
Tough it out.
Bottle it up.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Toughen up.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, John?
I'm still thinking about my 8-year-old neighbor. So like, I didn't really get to say my thing, which is that my parents are dead, and I'm back at the house, like putting things together to like do an estate sale, and the neighbor's still there, and she's like trying to be really sweet to me and like telling me that she can help and all this stuff. So it's like late at night, it's rained, the kitchen window's super foggy, and I can see that her light is on, but I can also see that she keeps looking out to look and see inside my house. And I write show hole. I just write show hole really big on the window.
In like the condensation.
Condensation just says show hole. And I look out there. I look out, it's like 15 minutes later. She's bent over in front of the window. She's just showing her asshole.
Just giving you the one eye salute, huh?
Yeah. And I stand up, and I'm just like right above the sink. And I bend over and I show her my asshole.
That's a beautiful thing.
We're just looking in between our own legs at each other, looking at each other's holes. And then that's it. I go to bed. Next day, act like nothing happened. I'm gardening.
Yeah.
Like really small shorts. I have like jean shorts on that I have unbuttoned, and I have them like folded over. So I'm showing like a bunch of my pubic areas kind of showing.
Yeah.
And she's doing her thing, sunbathing.
just flexing that 88-year-old perfect body.
She's got such a hard body for an old woman.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Love it.
So, we chit chat. We don't even bring up what happened. And then I'm like, hey, you should come over. I was like, I never showed you those photos from back when you were in your late 60s that I took of you. Do you remember that? And she's like, yeah, I'd love to see them. I was like, I'm going to make some s'mores, like doing like a campfire. And she comes over and she knows what's going on, So she's wearing like a robe, like got lingerie on underneath. And she's like, I'm so cold. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, you want me to hold you? So like, she's like in front of me, and I put my arms over her, and I'm just holding her kind of tight, hands on her breast. And then my hand just kind of trails down her underwear, and I'm starting to finger her, and she's like soaking wet. And at this point, the fire is really just blazing.
Yeah.
It's like a huge, and I'm just going more and more intense, like with the fingering.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed that the fire, she starts coming, and the fire is just completely out, and she's just squirted over the entire fire and out.
Wow. 96-year-old squirter. That's impressive.
Big time squirter, real creamy.
Yeah.
Hey,
For a woman her age, almost entire century old, to be able to do that is pretty remarkable.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Someone putting out a massive fire with their squirt is fun to me.
That's hot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And that's just from making out and touching.
You just like.
Yeah. You charge it up, let it rip.
Charge it like a chainsaw.
Yeah, or like think of like a toy where you like like a toy car where you like, you know what I mean? You put it in reverse like a bunch of times and let it rip.
Yeah.
I've never been with someone like that, so I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable that a 102-year-old woman could put out an entire bonfire.
Just depends on how big the fire is.
Well, and the fire was roaring at that time in the story, which is pretty incredible.
It was roaring.
Yeah. Like you threw an entire chair on there.
I feel like you would hear like drumming even if it wasn't there in real life.
Yeah.
Or something primal about it.
Yeah, you're both on mescaline.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys watch you watched the Girls Gone Wild documentary?
No.
Pretty cool.
I didn't see it, no.
What's it on Netflix?
On HBO.
Oh, is it new?
Yeah, it's like it's like a series of documentaries about like wealth and like.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's like 6 of them.
What was the highlight?
The highlight was that dude was really awful. I didn't realize that he was older than I thought he was. And
he was like cruel.
He's like a monster. Yeah. Super abusive. It's worth watching.
I remember for the longest time, I had the I can't remember how I got it, but I had the Girls Gone Wild with Snoop Dogg.
I remember that. I remember watching that at your old apartment.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans.
Yep, he's in New Orleans. That the smooth, silky tongued ladies' man Snoop Dogg was rendered a helpless oaf by the end of it. New Orleans had consumed him. He could barely stand. He had to be, carried around. Couldn't even talk to a woman. It's really a sad thing to see. This is at a dip in his career too. Before he came back,
fucked up.
He could barely stand by the end of the video. I distinctly remember him like
from seeing so many topless teenagers.
Yeah, he just something inside of his head ruptured. He had a stroke of some kind. But no, seriously, he was just so drunk that he was like leaning against being propped up by somebody and just staring at Mardi Gras beads that he was waving in front of his face. It's just like completely zoned out.
That's cool.
You still have that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know where it went.
Okay, we're done.